Welcome to Ancient Wisdom, a sanctuary where we peel back the layers of time to uncover the treasures of forgotten worlds. Here, we wander through the philosophies that shaped civilizations, seeking the truths that echo across centuries. Today, our journey takes us eastward, to a land of soaring dragons, tranquil rivers, and minds that pondered the mysteries of existence, China. For millennia, the heartbeat of Chinese culture has pulsed with the wisdom of its ancestors. Emperors sought it to govern vast realms, philosophers distilled it into teachings that endure, and humble villagers wove it into the fabric of their daily lives. Much of this wisdom survives in Proverbs, short poetic bursts of insight, each a seed planted long ago, blossoming with lessons about life, nature, and the human spirit. These sayings are more than mere words. They are lanterns illuminating the paths of Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism, paths of harmony, patience, virtue, and resilience. They whisper truths about the world and our place within it, truths so enduring that they feel as relevant today as they did thousands of years ago. But what do these ancient sayings reveal? How can their quiet power guide us through the noise of modern life? Come with me. Let's step into the timeless wisdom of Chinese proverbs, the power of Chinese proverbs. In the vast tapestry of Chinese history, wisdom rarely unfurls in long, winding lectures. Instead, it arrives in whispers, brief, potent proverbs that pierce the soul with their simplicity. A handful of characters, a breath of thought, yet within them lies the weight of centuries, observations honed by scholars, lessons carved from the struggles of ordinary people, and reflections born from the rhythms of nature itself. These proverbs are bridges between generations. A farmer might murmur one to his son as they till the soil. A general might recall another as he strategizes under lantern light. A monk might chant a third as he meditates beside a trickling stream. They are tools of guidance, shaping decisions. With their clarity, they are moral compasses, rooted in Confucian ideals of duty and righteousness. They are mirrors of the natural world, reflecting Taoist reverence for balance and flow, and they are beacons of mindfulness, glowing with the patience and compassion of Buddhist thought. Where do they come from? Some trace their origins to towering figures. Confucius, whose words sculpted a society built on virtue. Laozi, the sage of the Tao, who saw the universe in a drop of dew. Sun Tzu, the strategist who turned life's battles into art. Others spring from humbler roots, folk tales whispered around village fires, or the quiet musings of those who watched the seasons turn. Together, they form a mosaic of insight, each piece a lesson waiting to be unwrapped. Let's step closer now. Let's explore some of these proverbs, not as relics, but as living wisdom, still breathing, still teaching us how to live. Lessons from Chinese proverbs. On patience and perseverance, imagine a journey so vast it stretches beyond the horizon. 1,000 miles of winding paths, steep cliffs, and endless plains. How does one begin? The Taoist sage Laozi offers an answer. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. In Chinese, it flows as Qianli Zhiqing, Shi Yuzu Xia, a melody of perseverance captured in 8 characters. Picture that lone traveler. The mountain looms, its summit lost in mist. The distance feels crushing, the task impossible. Yet Laozi's voice cuts through the doubt. Greatness is not born in a single leap, but in the quiet courage of that first step, and then the next, and the one after that. Each footfall builds a bridge to the unreachable, proving that no dream is too distant if we begin where we stand. This proverb echoes through Chinese history. Think of the laborers who carved the Great Wall, stone by stone, across rugged hills, or the scholars who spent decades mastering calligraphy, stroke by patient stroke. It's a lesson in endurance, a reminder that time is an ally, not an enemy, when we embrace the power of small beginnings. Today, this wisdom feels more vital than ever. We live in an age of instant gratification, scrolling feeds, overnight success stories, quick fixes, but true achievement, whether it's mastering a craft, building a career, or healing a broken spirit, unfolds slowly. Start small, Laozi urges. Learn a single chord on the guitar, write one sentence of that book, take one breath to steady your heart. Consistency turns steps into miles and miles into triumphs. By the banks of a lazy river, a man hands a fish to a hungry boy. The boy eats, satisfied for a moment, but hunger will return. Now imagine this. Instead of a fish, the man hands the boy a rod and teaches him to cast it. The proverb says, "Give a man a fish, and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, and you feed him for a lifetime." In Chinese, Shou Ren Yi Yu, Bu Ru Shu Ren Yi Yu, a timeless call to empowerment. This saying, though its exact origins blur into the mists of folklore, resonates with a universal truth. Charity is fleeting, but knowledge endures. The fish fills a belly today. The skill to fish fills it forever. It's a lesson in self-reliance, yes, but also in the deeper gift of teaching, passing not just solutions, but the tools to find them. In ancient China, this idea fueled a reverence for education. Confucian academies flourished, training students not to memorize answers, but to ask questions, to reason, to stand on their own. A teacher was not a giver of fish, but a guide to the riverbank, showing where the currents run deep. Now think of our world. We're surrounded by quick fixes, apps to solve our problems, tutorials to spoon-feed us answers. But the proverb challenges us. Don't settle for the fish. Learn the rod. If you're starting a business, don't just copy someone's blueprint. Study the principles behind it. If you're lost in life, don't wait for rescue. Seek the skills to chart your course. Knowledge isn't a handout. It's a legacy you build for yourself, one cast at a time, on adapting to change. Water is a paradox, soft enough to cradle a lotus, strong enough to split a boulder. Laozi saw its mystery and gave us this: be like water, soft yet strong. In Chinese, Shang Shan Ruo Shui, a Taoist hymn to adaptability. Stand by that river. It doesn't fight the rocks in its path. It flows around them, over them, through them. It bends to the shape of the earth, yet its persistence reshapes the earth itself. Kingdoms rise and fall, but water remains, ceaseless and calm. Laozi's lesson is clear. Rigidity breaks. Flexibility endures. True power lies not in resisting life's currents, but in riding them. This wisdom runs deep in Chinese thought. Think of the bamboo that sways in the storm but doesn't snap, or the generals of old who won battles by yielding ground to gain advantage. It's a philosophy of grace under pressure, of finding strength in surrender, not to defeat, but to the flow of what is. In our lives, change crashes like waves. A job lost, a plan unraveled, a world turned upside down. Our instinct is to push back, to cling to what was. But water whispers another way. Adjust. When the path twists, twist with it. When the wind howls, bend like bamboo. A setback isn't the end, it's a detour, and resilience is the art of flowing forward, on humility and growth. In a quiet academy, a student hesitates, his question burning unspoken. Pride holds him back. Better to seem wise than risk looking foolish. But Confucius saw through such vanity. A man who asks a question is a fool for a moment. A man who never asks is a fool for life. In Chinese, Min Hao Shui Buqi Xia Wen, a call to humility and curiosity. This proverb is a cornerstone of Confucian thought. Wisdom isn't a crown you wear, it's a garden you tend. The scholar who knows everything has stopped growing, but the one who asks, even from a child, a farmer, a stranger, keeps the soil fertile. To learn is to admit you don't know, and that takes courage. History remembers this. Confucius himself wandered the kingdoms, questioning kings and commoners alike, never too proud to listen. His students followed, building a legacy of inquiry that shaped a civilization. Asking wasn't weakness, it was the root of strength. Today, we're tempted to hide our gaps. Social media polishes our lives into perfection. Admitting ignorance feels like defeat, but the proverb cuts through. Ask. Seek a mentor when you're stuck. Google that term you don't understand. Raise your hand, even if it trembles. A moment of awkwardness is a small price for a lifetime of growth. On kindness and generosity, a drop falls into a still pond and ripples spread outward, touching shores you'll never see. So it is with kindness, says the proverb. A single act of kindness creates ripples across 1,000 miles. In Chinese, Du Shui Jian, Yongquan Xiangbao, a promise that goodness echoes far beyond its source. In Chinese culture, this isn't just poetry. It's a moral code. A cup of water given today might return as a spring tomorrow. It's reciprocity, yes, but also faith. Faith that a small gesture, a coin to a beggar, a word of encouragement, a hand to lift someone up, plants seeds that bloom in ways we can't predict. Think of the Silk Road merchants who shared bread with strangers, forging bonds across empires, or the villagers who rebuilt a neighbor's home after a fire, knowing the favor might one day return. Kindness wasn't weakness, it was a current that held communities together. In our world, it's easy to hoard time, resources, attention, but the proverb nudges us. Give. Hold the door for someone. Share a skill with a friend. Smile at a stranger. These ripples don't just touch others. They return to us, often, when we need them most, proving that generosity is never lost, only multiplied. How Chinese proverbs apply to modern life. These proverbs aren't dusty relics locked in history's vault. They're alive, pulsing with relevance, ready to guide us through the chaos of today. Our world spins faster than ever. Technology races, expectations soar, and uncertainty looms. Yet the wisdom of ancient China offers an anchor, a way to steady ourselves amid the storm. Here are 3 ways to weave this timeless thread into your daily life. First, practice patience. We chase instant wins, likes, promotions, miracles. But a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Reminds us, slow down. That project overwhelming you. Break it into pieces. That goal out of reach? Take one move toward it today. Progress isn't a sprint, it's a pilgrimage, and every step counts. Second, adapt to change. Plans collapse, surprises strike, and control slips through our fingers. Be like water, soft yet strong, teaches us to flow with it. Lost your job? Pivot to a new skill. Facing conflict? Bend, don't break. Life's currents can't be stopped, but they can be navigated with grace. Third, stay humble and keep learning. We're pressured to know it all, to project mastery. But a man who asks a question is a fool for a moment. A man who never asks is a fool for life, urges us. Stay curious. Read that book you've shelved. Ask for feedback at work. Admit when you're lost. Growth begins where pride ends. These aren't abstract ideals, they're practical tools. In a meeting, patience keeps you calm. In a crisis, adaptability keeps you sane. In a conversation, humility keeps you open. The East's wisdom isn't bound by time or borders. It's a gift for every soul willing to receive it. The eternal wisdom of Chinese proverbs. For thousands of years, Chinese proverbs have been lanterns in the dark, guiding philosophers to truth, emperors to justice, and everyday people to meaning. They've shaped a culture that reveres the past while embracing the present. A culture that finds poetry in the ordinary and strength in the subtle. What do they tell us? That patience turns dreams into realities, that kindness weaves a web of connection, that true strength flows, not fights, that wisdom is a journey, not a destination. These are not loud lessons. They don't shout from mountaintops or blaze across screens. They murmur soft as a stream, yet their echoes reach across millennia. In our hurried world, where noise drowns out thought and speed outpaces reflection, These ancient words are a refuge. They ask us to pause, to listen, to see the beauty in a single step, a quiet question, a gentle act. If we let them, they offer not just guidance but peace, a stillness that steadies the soul. Thank you for joining me on this journey through ancient wisdom. If these proverbs stirred something in you, share them with someone, a friend, a stranger, a ripple of your own. Like, share, and subscribe for more explorations into the past's timeless gifts. And as you go, carry this with you. The greatest wisdom often hides in the simplest words.